Hello everyone. Good morning. Can you guys hear me? One of you please confirm.
Yes, you are audible,
Okay.
Prasad.
Yeah. Sharing my screen. So I've logged in from a different laptop today. So the look and feel might be slightly different. Okay. And we're going to look at how to integrate a SaaS application with on-prem application today. Now, what exactly on-prem application means, guys? Any application which is running on-premise, any application which is running on premise is called as an on-prem application. So it could be a database server, or it can be an FTP server, or it can be an EBS application or JD Edwards. Doesn't really matter what that application is. If the application is running on a machine installed on premise, it's called as an on-premise machine, on-premise application. So if you have to integrate a SaaS application with on-prem application, we need to make use of a connectivity agent for it. If you want to practice this use case as is, guys, you need to install two softwares on your machine. So if you get connected to SFTP server, within the root folder, you would have softwares folder. And within the softwares folder, you have two softwares that you need to install. I have given an installable file for Oracle XE 18 database, 18G database, or 18C, sorry, 18C database. So this Oracle XE database, you need to download it and install it on your machine. It's basically a database server that you're going to install. So once you download the zip file to your local machine, unzip it, there would be an executable file in it. Double click on it and install the database server. So when you double click on it and install the DB server, it would prompt you to enter a password. It would prompt you to enter a password. It would prompt you to enter a password in the first screen or a second screen. Do remember that password, because after you install the database server, right? After you download the zip file and install it successfully, how do you confirm if it is installed successfully or not? In your machine, if you go into services, if you go into services, there will be two services that get added in the services list. There will be two services added in the service list called Oracle Service XE and Oracle XE TNS Listener. Okay, there will be two Oracle XE services added to your machine, to the list of services. So you need to go ahead and start it. So when you start these services, that means you're basically starting up a database server on your machine. So yes, I did install this database on my machine earlier. Now I'm just starting up that database server here. So you need to go into services, activate those two XE services, Service XE and XE TNS Listener. You don't need to activate the second one, you need to activate the third one. And after you activate these two, which means the DB server is up and running now, and I need to get connected to that DB server using a SQL developer. And what's the username and a password that you need to enter, guys? First of all, the port that you need to use. So this is a host name that you need to use because it's a local host, 127.0.0.1. Port is going to be 1521. Username is going to be system. And you need to enter a password here. So when I downloaded this database file, a zip file, and then installed that Oracle XE database, I have set up the password as welcome123w in capital letters. So if you use the same password, if you want to avoid confusion, use the same password. Or if you set a different password when you install this database on your machine, do remember that password and you need to use that password instead of welcome123. Okay. Now, once you open up a SQL developer, create a new connection here. You can call it as UG63 on-prem DB connection. And I'm going to call it as system. And this is going to be welcome123. Save the password. 127001, and we'll get connected to it. Now in this particular database, so it's a local database running on my machine, on-prem database. And in this DB also, I created a table called items. And the use case is pretty much similar that we did yesterday. Yes, whenever item is updated in ERP Cloud, we need to merge the item details to this particular table, which is lying on the on-premise database. See, yesterday also we inserted or merged the item details to a database table, right? But what database was that? It was an ATP database. And where does ATP database sit in? It sits in Oracle Cloud. So since it is a cloud application or cloud.ab, we didn't have to use an agent. But if I have to merge item details to this particular table on this database, which is running on my local machine, we need to make use of a connectivity agent for it. Now let me log into OIC instance. Let me also connect to ET8 instance. This is what we used yesterday. And even the agent related integration, we cannot build it within the project, guys. We have to do it from the design only. So I'm going to create a new integration here, app driven orchestration, and I'm going to call it as SaaS to on-premise service. I'll make use of ERP connection. I'm going to call it as receive item updates from ERP Cloud. And I would say receive business events raised within ERP Cloud. And I'm going to do the exact same thing that we did yesterday. I'm going to subscribe to item update event. And what exactly do we need to do? Whenever item is updated in ERP Cloud, yes, this integration is going to be triggered. And we wanted to merge these item details to a on-premise database now. Now, what do we need to do, guys? We need to go ahead and yes, this particular integration gets triggered as and when item is updated. We need to invoke a database connection here to merge the details to this particular database table. To merge the details to this particular database table. Okay, to this particular database table. Now we need to establish connectivity from OIC instance with this database first. How do we do it? We go into connections and I need to create a new connection. Search for Oracle. Now, when you search for Oracle here, you have three DB adapters, ATP, ADW, and DBAS, Database as a Service. So these three database adapters would help you to talk to databases sitting in cloud. So you see these three symbols, these three adapters, these three are sitting in the cloud. So which means you don't need to use a agent to talk to it. But if you look at this Oracle database, you don't see a cloud symbol in the background, which means this is a DB adapter that you need to talk to on-prem databases. So I'm going to select that database connection, and I would say Oracle on-prem DB connection. And I'm going to leave the role as trigger and invoke. And I need to enter the details here. So what's the host name that we need to enter? You can enter the same details that you have here. 1521, SID is XE. And here you enter it as system. And you need to enter the password. The password you need to enter as welcome123. Now you go ahead and test the connection. Do you think it will go through, guys? So since there are, see, I have this database running on my machine, right? But how does OIC know that it has to connect to Prasad's laptop and connect to this particular database running on the Prasad's machine? Because there could be millions of local host databases running on different machines, right? So that is why it says, sorry, boss, looks like you are using an on-prem adapter. You need to check your connection and use an agent group. So if it is an on-prem adapter, the error message itself says that you need to use an agent. So that's exactly where the connectivity agent comes into picture. So if you have to talk to any on-prem application, so here I'm trying to talk to on-prem database adapter, right? Oracle database here. So that is why I'm using Oracle adapter, Oracle database adapter here, but I need to attach an agent, and this agent would help to establish connectivity from OIC instance with this laptop, with a machine, with the on-premise machine, not with the application, guys, with the on-premise machine. So let's see how that agent works. Now you go into agents, and there is a restriction that you can only have 5 agents here, guys. So if you try to create a new one, it's going to throw an error. What does it say? It says Prasad, maximum 5 agents. So we don't see any agents in here. So let's go ahead and delete this. And I'll also make space for one more agent, guys, if any of you wants to practice it. How do you delete it if you want to practice it? So you see this particular agent has only one agent in it, FR agent. So what I would do was I would be able to, yeah, just give me one moment, guys. Yeah. So I will go ahead and search for connections with FR. So this is Oracle DB connection. And in this connection, he would have associated an agent with it. So I'm going to select a different agent here because if you delete an agent, you won't be able to save the connection. So I'm going to save it now. So I'm just untagging one of the agent from the connection so that I can go to the agents here and I can look at the agents. I need to delete the agent first of all. Okay, agent seems to be in active status. What can we do to make it inactive? Let me go ahead and unlock this agent. Yeah, these two are unavailable. Can delete them. Can also delete this one as well. and I'm going to delete this. Okay, so you just have space for one more agent group as well. So if any of you wants to practice it, whatever agent I'm going to create today, you can delete it, guys. Okay, so we need to create a new agent here, and I'm going to call it as UG63 agent. Give it a name. And after you create an agent group here or agent here, you need to go ahead and download the connectivity agent from here. So create a agent first, and then you go ahead and download it. It's a generic connectivity agent installable file that you're downloading. And after you click on download, wait with patience for a couple of minutes because it would take at least 2 minutes for a zip file download to get initiated. Don't keep clicking on it twice or thrice. The file download gets initiated immediately. And what exactly is going to get downloaded, guys? So when you a zip file like this one is going to get downloaded now. And if you unzip it, there would be a folder that gets generated. And within this folder, you have a connectivity agent.jar file. So this is a executable jar file that you need to run on the local machine or on the on-premise machine where you have your on-prem applications running. So I have this Oracle on-prem database running on my laptop. And on my laptop, I need to install this agent so that I can establish connectivity from OIC with my laptop. And once the agent is up and running, the connectivity is established from OIC with my machine, and I can use that agent to talk to on-prem database. And if I have an SFTP server installed, I can talk to that SFTP server as well. If I have an EBS application running on my machine, I can talk to EBS application as well. Please note that the connectivity agent works at a machine level. Its job is only to establish connectivity from OIC instance with the machines, on-prem machines, not with the application specifically. Okay, and before you install this connectivity agent.jar file, there will be a installer profile.config file. So you need to edit this configuration file. And in this configuration file, you need to plug in these details. In this configuration file, you need to plug in these details. What details do you need to plug in, guys? You need to plug in OIC instance URL. Okay, that's the first thing. And you need to mention the agent group identifier. In our case, I'm going to put in UG63 agent. So these two, what are we basically letting agent know? First, go to this OIC instance and get tagged to this particular agent group. That is what we are saying. And for this agent installation to connect to OIC, remember it needs to authenticate itself with OIC instance, right? So a connectivity agent is going to use OAuth token in the background. It is going to use OAuth token in the background to get connected to the OIC instance. Okay, so this is the IDCS URL that we need to use. We need to enter the OIC instance IDCS URL, and we need to mention the OIC client ID, and we need to mention the OIC client secret. Remember, where do you get these details from, guys? The client ID and the client secret? You can directly get it from the OIC instance itself. And after that, you need to mention a OIC scope as well here. You need to mention the OIC scope as well. Now we need to take this OIC client ID, client secret, IDCS URL, and OIC scope. You just have to enter these details as is. Okay, OC administrator is going to share these details, and these details would be used to generate OAuth token, and that OAuth token would be used to interact with or to connect to this OIC instance, and the agent is going to get linked to this OIC to this agent group identifier. Okay, first of all, you need to edit the installer profile.config file before you execute this jar file. Now let's go to the downloads folder and see. Yes, the full file is downloaded just now. I'm going to copy this and I'll go back in here. I'll create a new folder for your batch. We need to unzip it. Now you could see that the folder is unzipped now. Now we need to go to the installer profile config file, and these are the details that we have to mention. I'm going to upload this configuration file along with today's session. Okay, and you're going to save this. And here, what do we need to mention, guys? Instead of UG62, we need to mention UG63. Now, what exactly do we need to do? We need to install this connectivity agent.jar file. So I have this jar file in this folder, right? I have a jar file in this folder. So I can go into terminal, go to the command prompt, and I'll go to this particular folder. And in this folder, we have this connectivity agent.jar file. Now to install this jar file, what do I need to do, guys? We need to go ahead to install this jar file. We need to run this particular command, java -jar connectivity agent.jar file. And this Java keyword that you see, guys, it is not a simple keyword. Instead, you need to mention the complete path where you have the Java executable file. So we need a JDK software installed on our machine or placed in our program files folder, so that this JDK folder would give you a Java executable file, and this Java executable file is what we're going to use to install this jar file. Now, where do you have this? Where do you get this JDK file from? So since there are version dependencies, what I did is, just to avoid confusion, I've also shared the JDK software with you. I've also shared the JDK software with you. So you see this JDK zip file. So you just have to download the zip file. And after you download the zip file, what do you do, guys? You just go in here. So once you download it, if you go ahead and unzip that file, if you go ahead and unzip this file, well, it's a pretty big file. I'm not really sure how much time it's going to take to unzip it. So you unzip it, copy it first of all. It's going to take a bit of time. So, but once you download this zip file, you unzip it. And when you unzip it, what would happen, guys? There would be this folder that gets generated. There would be this JDK folder that gets generated in it. So I just have to we need to copy that JDK file, and we need to go into C program files, Java, and we need to place the file, the JDK file in here. Sorry, this one. So we are downloading this zip file here. So after you download the zip file, you go ahead and unzip it. Let me show you how to do it first. Let's wait for it to get downloaded. Okay. Once you see this zip file, where did I download it to? It's downloaded to agent, right? Why are we not seeing the zip file? Yeah, looks like I copied it to a different folder. Okay, I can copy this and I can put it to this one. Okay, so just to avoid confusion, I'll close this. So you see this particular zip file, you just have to extract it. And when you extract it, what would happen? You would be able to see. So let this folder gets extracted. So this folder, when you extract it, what is it that you're going to get, guys? So you're going to get this particular file. You're going to get this particular folder in there. And this folder we need to copy from there, and we need to go into C program files Java, and you need to place that particular JDK file in here, that folder. Now, when you get into JDK folder bin, you would be able to see Java executable file here. So this Java executable file is what we are going to use to install the connectivity agent. This Java executable file is what we are going to use to install the connectivity agent. So we need to say, go to C, program files, Java, JDK folder, bin Java executable file. So pick up a Java executable file from that JDK 17 folder and execute the jar file. So jar file is in this particular folder UG63. So I'm going to run that command now. And what is it going to do? It is going to connect to OIC instance, and it would try to install the agent there. It's installing the agent on the machine. And you should be able to see a confirmation that you should be able to see a confirmation message that agent is installed successfully. And once agent is installed successfully, what do we do? That means the connectivity is established from OIC to the on-premise machine. So you see a confirmation that it is done with agent installation, and it is starting the agent for message processing now. And as soon as this is done, what is it that you're going to do? We could see a confirmation that agent started successfully, now available for new messages. So if I go back now and I refresh it, I should be able to see one agent tagged in here. It is 0 at the moment. Once it is refreshed, you should be able to see 1. Now, which means that agent is up and running now. So which means connectivity is established from OIC instance with my machine through this particular agent. Okay. Now I can go to my UG63 DB connection, and I can attach that agent here. I can attach that agent here. So that what would happen? Now what would happen? So first of all, OIC will connect to my machine through this agent. And on that particular machine, it is going to see if there is any local database, on-prem database, which is running or not. And it could see that there is one database server running, and it would try to connect to that particular database now. So if I have an FTP server installed on my machine, very well possible, right? Similar to how I installed Oracle database server, I could install FTP server as well. And even if I have an FTP server installed on my machine, what do I need to do if I have to talk to that on-premise FTP server? So I just have to use FTP adapter. And I need to say UG63 on-prem FTP connection. And you need to enter the connection details here. But what is important, you have to tag that connectivity agent, because this FTP server is running on my machine. So you just have to install your mention your local SFTP server details. Whatever FTP server is running on your machine, you just have to mention the details. So what I'm trying to prove here is, or explain is, yes, agent job is only to establish connectivity from OIC with the on-prem applications. Now on the on-premise machine, sorry, with the on-premise machine, not application. And once the connectivity is established from OIC with the on-premise machine, you can use that same connectivity agent to talk to any application running on the machine. You can talk to the database, you can talk to SFTP server running, you can talk to any other application running on the machine. Okay, that's what you need to understand. Agent works at a machine level, not a application level. Now I need to go back in here. It's pretty straightforward from here on. So I just have to use that connection. And even when you use a DB connection, whether it is on-prem or a cloud DB, the options are not going to change. It's going to be the same options. I'm going to search for items table, and I will search for it, import it. And we just have to do the mappings here, straightforward mappings. I've just refreshed the screen since it was not responding. While we are waiting for this to come up, let's log into the application as Charles Johnson, a user who has permission to access or update an item. We can see the details populated now. I'm going to activate the service now and we'll go ahead and test it. And after we do that, what is it that we're going to do? We need to go ahead and pick up a specific item. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you don't have to delete it, to be frank, because we are using a merge command. But just to show you that the record does get inserted into a DB, I'm going to run this. So let's see if this service is up and running. And I'm going to say UG63 description. I should be able to see this as soon as we update this item. What would happen, guys? This integration should get triggered in OIC instance. If we go into observability, we should be able to see the integration getting triggered. And the item details should get merged to the on-prem database table now. So you see this integration is yet to be triggered. And I believe we have saved the item as well here. Yeah, we have saved it now. So we'll in less than a couple of minutes, we should be able to see this integration triggered. And this integration is going to merge the details to the on-prem database table. Now, while we are waiting for this integration to be triggered, let me explain two or three important points related to the agent, guys. First of all, in the session, I've shown you how to install an agent on the on-premise machine today. But in real time, guys, you will not be the person installing the agent. It would be done by administrator on the client side. But when they install an agent, if they don't know the process, they might ask you for help. So now you know what are the exact steps that you need to do to install an agent, right? So you need to create an agent by going into Agents tab. And after you create an agent there, you need to download that zip file. And after you download that zip file, you need to unzip it. And there would be a installer profile config file. Here you need to plug in these details. OCI administrator is going to give you these details. And then we need to go to the terminal and we need to run this command. And this particular command, I ran it as a normal command in the command prompt session, guys. And you see cursor is blinking now. I cannot execute any other steps here. It has hijacked my command prompt session. So this is fine. But the problem is the moment I close this command prompt, right, the agent will stop running. But is that what we want, guys? Certainly, we don't want agent to stop running, right? We want agent to keep running 24/7 in the background. So what you need to tell also OCI or any administrator who is doing this activity is you need to you need to ask them to run this particular command as a background service. You need to ask them to run this particular command as a background service. So when you run this command as a background service, what would happen, guys? Even though you close the command prompt session, the agent will be up and running in the background, and it will be up and running 24/7. An agent works at a machine level. Remember, I can use the same agent to talk to database. And if I have an FTP server installed running on my laptop, I can use the same agent to talk to FTP. And if I have an EBS application running, I can use the same agent to talk to EBS as well. So connectivity agent, as you can make out from the name, its job is only to establish connectivity from OIC instance with on-premise machine. Okay. So the first point is you need to run this as a background service. Administrator will know it. They would put it into a batch file and run it. Point number two, agent works at a machine level, not application level. One agent is sufficient per machine. And the third point is you need to ask the clients or administrator to add this to add this command to the startup list of the machine. So this is something that you usually run into 3 months or 4 months post go live. So when you go live, everything would be working fine, guys. First month, everything is fine. Second month, everything is fine. A third month, one fine morning, on all agent related integrations will fail. What's the reason? So you get a call at 1 o'clock to figure out what has happened. All agent related integrations would fail. Now, when you talk to that particular on-prem application owner, ask him what has happened. So he might tell you that, Prasad, we just restarted a machine because we had to install a software updates on our machine. Do we have to update a software on the laptop, guys? Similarly, on the machines also, you have that operating system and all the patches installed, right? So periodically, we need to restart the machines, maybe once in a couple of months or 3 months. Now, when the machine on-prem machine was restarted, the moment machine is shut down, agent went down with it. But the moment machine restarted back, the agent did not come up along with it. Agent did not come up along with it. So for that reason, all the agent-related integrations would fail. So you need to ask the administrator to run this command again or the background batch file so that the agent comes up again, and then you can rerun the integrations that have failed. So for that reason, you need to ask administrator to add this command to the startup list of the machine so that when the agent goes down, when the on-prem machine goes down, the agent goes down. And when the machine comes up again after the machine is restarted, so these all the commands that are there in the startup list would also be executed, and this agent would also come up along with it if you have put this command in that startup list. Okay, three important points to remember, guys. Third one is really important because that is something that you will wake up to after 2 months or 3 months post go live. Now you see the integration. It is triggered. It completed successfully. So if I go into this particular table, if I search for this particular item, it should have been inserted there. It should have been inserted here. Okay. Any questions, guys, on this agent integration? Any questions from anyone?
Prashad, Sachin here.
Yeah, Sachin, please go on.
Yesterday, when we connected to the cloud instance for events, this one, and then we log in with Johnson with a different URL, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's okay. You can, because of FinIMPL, when you have to subscribe to events, right, in the connection, ERP connection, you need to use a implementation user who has got required access.
Okay.
That is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, but the cloud instance was same, right? I was
Instance
actually
was
confused.
same. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Instance is same.
Okay.
But we use
Okay.
FinIMPL here, but we logged in as Charles Johnson to update an item because FinIMPL doesn't have access to update an item. That's why.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Try
Prasad,
this one out, guys. Yes.
I'm
Go on.
sorry. Okay. So, Prasad, is there any timeout limit in the connectivity agent also? Means somewhere I was reading.
I'm not particularly sure. You won't have timeout because certainly you won't be running a command like this on your on-prem machine. You're going to put it in a batch file and you're going to run it as a background service. So when you run it as a background service, you don't have any timeout as such. But if you run it like this one, I think that it might probably time out after some time because you see cursor blinking here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Prasad, if by any
Yeah.
chance agent is down, correct, and somebody updated item during same time, we should be covered, correct? I think you.
Yeah, we should be covered. So if I close this one, so I close this, which means agent is up and running now, or it is down. Can you monitor it? From the observability itself, you have agents.
Okay.
And in the agents, you will be able to see whether the agent is up and running or not. So you see it is available. It is the status is showing as available, but actually this agent has been stopped now. I think it's taking a bit of time to stop the agent. Okay, so this is still showing as active, but let me just give it a try. I'll just put one at the end. Not really sure if they have put in a logic to keep the agent running in a background or the status was not getting updated. Could be one among those two. Ideally, the integration would error out, and that would show up in Error Hospital. And after you bring up an agent, you can just go to that instance and resubmit it. It should go through.
Okay, resubmit. Okay.
Yeah, you just have to resubmit it.
Resubmit.
Did I save the item here?
Yes.
Let me
Messages.
save it one more time. Yeah. You see that it is triggered now. And ideally it should error out now. It shouldn't take this long. If it's taking this long, that means it is something is wrong. Yeah, status is updated. I think it took up, there was a bit of delay, but it's updated to not available. So what would happen now?
It should.
It should error out. And after this errors out, what do we need to do? We would go to the command prompt again. I think it's going to get terminated. It's going to end in error race. And as soon as it ends in error, what do we need to do? We'll just wait for one more minute. Not sure why it's taking so much time to. So once it ends in error, it's going to show up in the error hospital. And what do you need to do? You just have to bring up the agent and rerun it. Shall I start the agent now? If I run the agent now this time since the agent is already installed, existing agent installation found, and it is just starting the agent now. Okay. And once it starts the agent, what would happen? You should be able to see the integration go through. Yeah, agent started successfully. And if you go ahead and refresh it now, it should go through successfully. Any other questions, guys, apart from this?
Yeah, Prasad, like whenever it is errored, like we have to resubmit again, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
see,
is.
you see it is submitted. But ideally, after some time, it would go into error state, and you just have to go into errors. You would see that instance there, and you just have to pick it up and resubmit it.
So you can resubmit. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you need to do it.
So Prasad, it was still running, correct? When you
It was in waiting
disabled
mode.
that agent, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in waiting mode. So now when you activate it, so it's try to wait it for few minutes basically.
Few minutes
So
before. Correct.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And,
And
Prasad,
if you wait for some
uh-huh,
more time, then it would go ahead and
fail also.
fail. Yeah.
Fail. Okay. Prasad, one more question for my yesterday's email. If you can
I'll check it
spend time
tomorrow, and I can
tomorrow.
we'll check it
Okay.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.